I'm
But
still having the same kind of problems. Just I feel like maybe the heaviness of the paddle
but do
is
you think
helping
it's
me with
better? But do you think it's better now with solid slime, or it's worse?
maybe a little better. Um, but I'm still like whiffing ones that are just like not crazy hard ones that are just right in my perfect field of view and
But
whiff
but
or
maybe it's the Quest 3 tracking instead of the adapter. Maybe.
well, I mean, I went to Quest 3 and it was bad for a long time, and then I went to Quest 2 and it was a little better, and then I stayed on Quest 2 for like 6 months, so now I'm
Yeah.
back on 3, and so 3 was definitely not good for me to the point where Quest 2 was better,
Right.
and so maybe they fixed some things, but I'm still I think maybe it's a little better, but I'm still missing one, especially putaways, the ones that are just right here,
Right.
and maybe I just swing too fast, I don't know. And then a lot of for my forehand in particular, a lot of ones right off the top or the tip.
Right.
Not hard ones to hit, but so I still have quite a few of those, but I feel like it's better for my reaction shots. So
Right.
instead of my reaction shots, someone hits it right to this corner and I go like that, instead of it just missing completely or going that way, I'm hitting a lot of them that are actually really good shots. Like my reaction and my reflex is correct.
Maybe because the graphics are
And
better on
it
Quest
could be
3
because I
or
know
fluid.
my field of
Yeah.
vision is definitely better with
Yeah.
this, but I don't
But
think
if
really because it's kind of it feels like it kind of used to before everything in the game changed and I got worse with all of that. I used to have a
right.
lot of good reflexive shots that I could count on. I feel like it's back to that. I can count on those shots.
Right.
And then like my loops, if I get in a position to loop, they're very strong. They're
And
stronger than
even like that, like feeling that some you have some issues, even like that, you're beating guys that you never beat before. So this is a good thing.
yeah. I mean, I feel like there's definitely some differences with Quest and the new um, adapter. Like a lot of times, I played a guy a lot, like the last few days who's right at my level, but he's a in real life player.
Right.
So his everything he's doing is pretty consistent. It seems like he's well trained. He's just an older guy, I think.
Right.
So we get in these things where he's looping forehands at me,
Yeah.
and I'll block one, I'll block another, I'll like block the third one, and instead of like the other two, and he's just doing, it's not any kind of weird stuff. Instead of going like the first two, it'll just dies. It'll just be like it'll hit here and go there instead
Right.
of. And I
Right.
noticed it on some pushes. Like sometimes push, the same guys he served here like almost every time. So push, push, push is fine. Then just dead right into the there, And I'm like, I felt like I just did the same thing, and it was like I was just like didn't move it or went like that.
Right.
So there's some weird things like that, but my overall game is still like, I mean, just for my scores, it's clearly better. So
Right.
it could just be the heavy. It's a little heavier, and I also did the what's it called, anatomical, the little bit bigger
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
thing.
Makes
So
sense.
I have
Yeah.
that. I had Solid Slime put on the grip tape. I had him put on the um, rubber at the very bottom.
Right.
So I don't know if the
That makes
adapter
it
itself
heavier.
is heavier or just
Yeah.
all of it's
Yeah. I
heavier
think
or just the bigger grip is heavier, but this is definitely a little heavier.
a little heavier. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I always use the straight handle. For me, I think it's because I'm used to do this in real life anyway. So straight for me is better. I tried them all along the years, but straight for me, I just feel I have more. I don't know, more options like switching angles and
Yeah.
like sometimes releasing a finger, something like that to find the proper angle, the proper position. I think it's easier, but this is very personal as well. So it
Well,
doesn't.
I picked up my old Quest 2 adapter that I've been using for the last few months, and it's flared.
Right.
But I picked it up and I realized, yeah, like what you're just saying, like with that one, I feel like little teeny differences. I could feel like I could move it in my hand a little better.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know if that's good because I could be moving it a little bit
Okay, you
without
can miss the
really,
angle sometimes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Makes
yeah, or
sense.
just by accident. Just like
Yeah,
whereas this, I'm a little bit more of a straight. Like I'm really locked in. Like there's not a lot of wiggle room on my grip. So maybe that's better for me. So I'm not doing the wrong thing. But
right. Let's do some. Do you think about? Are you thinking about doing anything specific? You need more,
um,
or
I wouldn't mind doing some drills just to kind of test everything out. But
yeah,
the two things I kind of had questions with are this guy I've been playing, who I said is the real life player.
yeah,
And other people do this to me where I get low. I don't know if I call them loops or counter loops, but lower, maybe not as high, not as spinny of a shot, but low, like a low, well hit shot. So, and like I know I need to get down, but I think my question was if someone hits and Tege hits low
yeah,
spinny ones,
yeah,
but the trajectory is just a lot lower than I'm used to. Like when we play, sometimes I'm hitting up here
yeah.
or
Some
way up here.
players generate more arc. Some players are kind of a flatter. Yeah,
Yeah, so he gets me, and there's a couple guys I played in the tournament that got me. The pin holder kind of got me with that, where it's
yeah,
just really low trajectory, and I
right.
find myself not really ready to. They're not hit really hard. Like if I were in position, I feel like I could just do my normal thing, but
Yeah,
because maybe I'm not low prepared. Like maybe I'm waiting to see the trajectory, and then I go low, and that's too slow. Like do you start out kind of low in these rallies and then you
yes,
wait
all the
to
time.
go up if
You don't.
so like
You
you're like
don't.
you
You
go up if
never
you
go
need
up. You
to,
never go up. You never go up. Even if the
but what
ball
if
is a
you
little, the ball is higher. It's above the shoulder here. Boom. Stay low. Is unless it's a very high ball, like you have to stand up a little bit to smash the ball. But this is an exception. But let's say it's a ball like this. You stay low. You just hit this ball like close to your head level, your ear. Let's
yeah,
say you
I'm
know
not
you
doing that.
just because when you because if you're high, like if you're too tall here, you're gonna have problems because it's all about timing. So let's say I like serving standing tall, right? Most of my serves I stand tall. So if I serve immediately as before the ball arrives, before you touch the ball, I'm already in position, very low. Because low, you can change directions, you can move everywhere, and you keep your body in balance. And you don't waste time. Because imagine if I serve, I stay tall, and then when you hit the ball, I'm gonna let's say you're pushing or maybe you're looping this ball, whatever. I have to then get down after seeing what your shot is, and then I have to deal with that. It's there's not enough time for this. There's not enough time. You just have to keep your legs apart as much as you can. I mean, as much as you can. I mean, keeping a good balance and in a way that you can move everywhere. So legs apart, knees bent, and the body slightly leaning forward. Because this is another problem when you're standing tall, your body is almost leaning backwards because it's just anatomy. Your lower back is gonna curve naturally, and your balance is almost like backwards. So you have to lower hips back so your butt sits back, and then you just uh, move forwards. Your head is forward, everything is leaning forward, and you barely feel your heels touching the floor. No, it's more like the body weight is more like on your toes.
So if you serve and you get down in your ready position, is your ready position so low that if you probably know what kind of shots I'm talking about. They're just a low
Yeah,
trajectory, low,
yeah,
especially here. Like here, you can kind of. I feel like I can kind of like still get under it and at least do
yeah.
something. But for
Yeah, but
these,
if
I'm
it's
like, by
very
the
low over there, like on the backhand side, you have to be low,
yeah,
right?
or
You have
it
to be.
almost is like low trajectory, but maybe it
Yeah,
bounces early, and so it's so
yeah.
you when you're ready, are you low enough? Just like to begin with that you can just do this, or are you having to still react and go even lower for a shot like that?
In general, is it's low enough to just lift up if I need to, or just move forwards, not moving down and forwards. It's already there. That's why, like tall players, they need to bend their knees more, and or maybe keep the legs
Yeah.
more apart.
Because I feel like I'm doing better at sort of being in a ready position, but it's not
Yeah.
really, I wouldn't consider it a low ready
It's
position, you
okay.
know?
It's okay if, let's say, I push for you, and then it's okay if you slightly lower your body just to prepare your shot and then lift. But that's different than being fully tall and then you have to bend everything. That's too long. It takes too long for that. To just stay wide, solid base and
So when you play points, you are for the most part at the same height.
yeah,
You
yeah,
play,
as
play,
much
play,
as
play, play,
yeah.
and you're always kind
It's
of
yeah, and this is interesting because when I'm not playing good, when I feel that I'm late for the shots I normally get on time, it's because I'm not low enough. Maybe because I'm tired, maybe because I'm not focused enough. But then I feel that, and it's amazing. As soon as I say, "Oh my God, something is wrong. I'm not playing well," and then like you get the kind of a you get angry because you're not playing well, and then because of that, that makes me bend my knee properly, and I say, "Oh, maybe that's it." And then suddenly I improve my timing because I'm lower. You're supposed to be low all the time. I mean, when you serve, if you serve like this, for example, you have to be a little bit tall, because otherwise low, you're gonna serve under the table. But right, but even like that, some players they get really low here to serve, and then they just turn. They're already in position. If you serve backhand, for example, it's easier because it's easy to generate spin like this than generating spin like that. But it's still possible, of course. But maybe using this pendulum, it's better if it's more like close to your hips. Maybe you have more leverage. But as soon as you hit the ball, but but I mean, as fast as you can, really as fast as you can. Like, don't waste your time. You stay in position, even if the ball is very slow. You stay in position already, waiting, because then you have a better reaction. And some players, lower level players in general, they don't plan much what the kind of serve they will do. So it's kind of a tossing and say, "Oh, I want to serve long,"
yeah.
in the middle of the toss. This is a mistake. So you have time. You don't need to rush. So you just prepare your toss and then say, "Okay, now I need to think. Okay, it's gonna be a short serve over there with left side spin. Okay, that's it." But then serving like this, you have to understand your possibilities. So you're already in position, let's say a little bit more to your left, a little bit more to the center, away from the table a little bit more, or too close. It depends on what kind of a spin you're doing. And then you have to position yourself. This is a small, like, positioning difference, but it's important. And then you know already what to expect from that serve. But it's always low.
Did
Always low.
your camera go away?
Yeah, I turn it off actually.
Oh,
The
okay.
camera. No, just the image, just the
Oh,
weird
okay.
cat. Yeah, no, it's
Um,
recording.
so this is a more positioning question. So,
Yeah,
so I'm playing and I do my serves like this and I do my serves like that.
yeah,
And I feel like usually what it comes back to me, I'm ready for. Like even if they get it, even
yeah,
if I do a long one and they get a hold of it, I'm kind of ready for it. I'm ready for things over here. I'm ready for here.
yeah.
This serve though, and I like to mix it up because I find that a lot of people have mobility issues on getting to things
Yes,
and they can't get there. But
makes sense.
I've been running into some of these higher level players. I'll do these serves and they get there and I'm not really ready. I'm not ready Like sometimes they go there, but I feel like I should be way more ready to.
But you have two problems when you serve from that corner over here, especially if it's more like a side spin or a dead serve, where your opponent can flick this ball. That means the ball is gonna get faster back to you. And if you're in at that corner serving, of course, your opponent always has the option of doing this down the line, which is harder. And you have to be more careful when you do this because of the spin. It's a right side spin, so the ball tends to go that way. If I want to speed up things, it's that way. It's easier. But if I want to change directions, I have to just play slower a little bit in general if your serve is good quality. So I have to pay attention. But then you have a problem because even if I play slow over there, you have a long way to cover and with your backhand, right? So it's not going to be great. And if you move too much over there, you always have to remember the fast ball lands cross court because of the spin. And if you stay in the middle, which is okay, which is sensible, you have a problem because maybe you don't have enough space to play your forehand. If you're in the middle, it's going to be too close to your body here. Make sense? So if you serve like this because you want that, let's say with double bouncing, a little bit more to the corner, maybe like this, right? You have to find a spot where you are close enough to step and play backhand if necessary, and maybe away enough from the table to cover a fast flick, for example, with a good forehand. Because if you serve like that, your opponent can play short, yes, but it's not very easy if you're not putting any backspin. If it's only side spin, it's not very easy to play short. It's possible, but it's very likely that this drop shot, let's say, is gonna end up too high, and then you can jump in and finish. But so every time you serve with side spin, you expect the ball to to go faster and deeper. So you don't serve like this and stay too close to the table because the shot's gonna a flick, for example, is gonna be deep, and then you don't have time to prepare anything. You're too close to the table. So you have to every time you serve like this, for example, you have to step back a little bit probably. And then of course if the ball is short, you need a bigger step to get to the ball. That's okay. There's no perfect serve and perfect positioning, right? It's you have to.
Well, I feel like I'm doing what I intend to do, which is someone's way over here. I've served some fast and long there. They know I can do that. They know I can put it over there. And so they're having to kind of jump and react, and they're not having a lot of time to hit an amazing shot. And they're not really going down the line. Sometimes when they try, usually they miss. And I'm not really getting too many short ones. Sometimes I'll get a short one, but I can usually get to those. It's coming at me like maybe 10 to 12 meters a second, somewhere in that, not like I'm getting blasted and I have to just block it. Far enough that a lot of times I'll do a quick swing like this, but it almost always goes in the net. I'm not in the right position. I'm too high. I'm maybe not expecting it. And I think I'm always too close to the table. But I guess my question would be, and even some of them I'm doing not like that, like a little faster, where they really have to get over there, or they have to get off the table and do something. So if I hit this serve, so I'm right here, hit that serve. Oops. Should I be more like here?
Yeah, not too close to the table, definitely.
So that I can maybe react to things.
I actually would keep. I would stay even more to your left, step more to your left after serving a little bit more because do this kind of a serve there, and then I'm gonna show you if I play like this. Oh, sorry, do it again. A little, yeah. If I do, oh my God, what's happening? If I do like this, close to your belly, you're gonna play a very poor backhand because you're out of position. The ball is going this direction, and your backhand goes naturally to the power of your backhand goes this direction, this diagonal, let's say. So from where you
Yeah.
are, there's no table anymore. And then you're going to have to play some bad angle here, not very powerful. But if you step a little bit more to the after serving it, there's it's not a problem serving like this. But you serve and then you step a little bit more to your left, because then you have more time to cover the middle with your forehand, because then you have more time. If your opponent is taking this ball, the ball is going to go deep anyway, so you don't need to take in front of you, and then you have more time to generate power. But if you stay too close with your backhand, you have to take the backhand in front of you. You're too close to the table, you have less time to react, and there's no power here. Maybe there's good placement, maybe you can make your opponent move from side to side. But if your opponent is fast enough, or if his flick is good enough, your next shot's going to be very poor, and then he's going to have time to keep playing, and then he keeps the pressure on you, and you lost the advantage of being the server. This is the only advantage we have, being the server, that to maybe have a better chance to put pressure on our opponent as soon as we can, because we know a little bit more what to expect. When you're tossing the ball here, I have no idea what you're going to do, but you do. You know exactly what you're going to do, and you know exactly what to expect. Of course, it's never just one option. In general, your opponent has maybe three options, two or three options, according to what you're serving. But you know what they are in general, and you know how to play with them. So I would step a little bit more. Let's do more side spin serve this way again. Position to your left. Yes, and then this one you have time, and you can take this ball, you can let this ball drop a little bit more, and then you can play your normal forehand. You really, because you're in control, you can generate some good arc with your loops, so you don't need to take this ball close to the table. Just let it drop and play your loops. If I ever play to that corner, you are closer to the ball because now you're more in the center. And if I play in the middle, this is the problem. If I play in the middle, you also have an option to play forehand. But if you're too much to the side and too close to the table, you're gonna play backhand most of the time, unless your opponent hits a perfect flick to the corner. Like kind of a short diagonal. Then you have a good angle for your forehand. That's not enough. You need more forehand angle, because the reach on the forehand side is much bigger, than the backhand. So you have to cover more area with your forehand.
So because I've been practicing the wrong thing all this time, like when I say wrong, like with lower level, I could do the serve stand here, and they hit it. If they hit it anywhere in here, I could just hit that, or an inside out. But I feel like I need to. So if I do this serve, I need to come like here, and in my head, I need to be ready to react and hit it.
Yes, you do have to be ready to react, but not only for that one. For that one, more in the middle also, but with the forehand, not the backhand.
Oh, okay.
With the forehand, because you're calling with this right side spin, you're calling the shot towards your forehand. There's no reason for you to cover the backhand unless you're a beast, you have the best backhand ever. But even like that, the angle here is uncomfortable. You would have to step back, and then you would be completely out of position for that shot. But if you step back, but more to the center of the table, you cover the forehand area in the middle, and you're close to the backhand if your opponent ever.
So you're saying I need to hit this and then
move.
Be in a position where almost everything that comes to me is going to be my forehand. Like,
exactly.
Unless I have
middle,
to react.
At least middle, long diagonal, and short diagonal. This forehand, and this down the line here is only down the line is backhand. Unless it's a kind of a down the line ish, a little bit more to your backhand, and maybe you have to think very fast, right? But then for some reason you rather, instead of turning the body and play a poor forehand, maybe you can take this early and play a backhand. That's okay. But in general, if it goes to the middle, long diagonal and short diagonal, this is your forehand. Okay. And of course, in this in this case, the short diagonal, which is harder for your opponent to hit a good, fast, short diagonal because the table is shorter, right? Then you have to kind of a jump. But you are already low, right? We are not tall anymore, right? And then you're just in position to step in
and really,
and jump.
really, I feel like my serves are doing what's intended, which is no one's really hitting winners. You know, if I hit it badly, maybe they're doing something, but they're just catching me off guard sometimes with where I'm supposed to be. And when I think I'm doing it right, I'm actually like when I'm like, oh, I really need to be over more. I've still been too close, and I maybe here instead of here, which isn't enough. Then I just get jammed. You know?
Let's practice this a little bit. I want you to, if you serve with more backspin, I'm gonna just push, right? But if you serve with more side spin, I'm gonna flick, and I'll try to play all over your forehand area, from the middle line to the short diagonal, and then you see if you have a good position or not. And don't stay too close. You can serve very close to the table, but then you step back a little bit more. You need space for your forehand, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yes, good. Just change something here, just real quick. Yeah, go. No, yeah, go. Yeah, this is good. You see, it was more in the middle, and you were very comfortable to play a good forehand. Very comfortable. And this is the difference. Before you would be closer to the table playing a very poor backhand. Maybe you're going to try to play this backhand over here because it's very stupid to bring your opponent to this side and play slowly where your opponent is. Then you're asking for him to kill you, right? So you probably would. But it's not very fast, not very powerful. And then your opponent has and forget about lower level players. You know how to beat them already. You know, we have to think about the big ones, the big guys, right?
Yeah, and even if they do this like the same weak shot, I don't have to, instead of doing this.
No, you're ready for.
I can be.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be even more powerful. And if it's slow, you have even more time to step in with your body, and you can choose the whole table maybe.
Yeah.
You can choose to hit this ball on the whole table. So, with the backhand, it would be very uncomfortable for you to hit this way.
So if I'm doing this serve, so either under spin or the spinny one,
or side, yeah.
So I told you before, I don't really get caught here unless I hit a bad serve, serve that goes long.
Right.
But if I were to do this serve, would I just maybe kind of be here because I still want to do?
Well, not really, because this side, I don't have angle to put this ball away from you. The spin is the same, but the position is not. So I don't have angle to make this ball go away from you. So you don't need to, because at worst case scenario, I'm gonna hit kind of a perfect down the line, which is very close to your forehand, even if you're close to the corner there.
So if I'm doing this or I'm doing this,
if I do this, it's gonna be close to you. Yeah.
So I still do the same problem when I do this, as I stay too close. So I still need to be back a little bit.
If you serve like this, but with more backspin, you are allowed to stay close to the table, because your opponent maybe can play short here. Maybe they play long backspin, but long backspin is not traveling very far. So you have to stay close to the table to attack or to push back. But if you serve more side spin, then you have to step back a little bit more, because the ball is gonna run a little bit more, like further.
And I'm leaning more towards that. Other than a really spinny shot, I'm leaning more towards side and top, just to get them to start playing my game and not give me sharp underspin that I'm.
Yeah, we discussed that before. Like, maybe it's a good strategy, but then you need to step back immediately. Some players, they have really good flick, very powerful, so you have to step even more backwards, maybe, or just get ready to react very fast. But this is a rule: if a player is flicking too good, it's because they're anticipating your short serve.
Yeah.
And then it's time to maybe serve long on their belly, maybe in the middle or whatever, maybe to the corner, whatever. It depends on who you're playing. But if your opponent is too comfortable doing whatever they want with your short serve, it's because they are not waiting, they're not expecting a long serve. And this is also a rule, we have to expect the long serve always, because if you're late for the long serve, you have problems. If you're late for the short one, not necessarily. You can still save the day with a good touch, place this ball on the table, and you're safe. Right? And this is but if you serve like that, let's say side spin, right? More side spin like that, your opponent can flick that way a little bit faster. It's not going to be away from you, curving away from you, but it's going to be faster because of the spin. But if you serve like that, this left side spin, then the power of your opponent's flick is going to be diagonal. Just have to keep that in mind, because if you serve like this, you can ignore a little bit more your forehand side, because if it goes to your forehand side, it's supposed to go slower, and then you have time to prepare and go there. But if you serve like this, maybe stay a little bit more facing the table, because if it goes fast to your forehand, you have to react. Small changes, like maybe I don't know if you can see the difference, but if I serve like this, I would stay maybe facing the long diagonal. And if I serve like that, I would be more facing a little bit less this way. It's more like my body is facing this middle line here, that this conjunction. How do I say that in English? With the baseline, middle line.
Yeah.
This kind of a I don't know the name of that.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
So long diagonal. So I'm facing this corner of your table, and if I serve like that, then I'm kind of facing your middle. Because I have to react fast in case the ball goes to my forehand. It's very tiny difference. In VR, we don't have legs, and the body is not really tracked, so we don't really know much.
So just so I understand,
Like
so I understood your long serve. I need to be over a little more when I do that, but I do a long fast one. I do that. And
yeah,
is that just stepping back like this because it's going long and they can?
Yes and no, because if you serve long, you have to expect your opponent attacking. Even if your opponent is a bit late, if he's expecting a long serve, he's going to attack. And this attack, because of the spin, it's possible to go everywhere, but it's much harder to go down the line because of the spin, because of the position here. But if your opponent has good technique, he can hook this ball and play even short diagonal very fast. So I would still step to the middle a little bit more, because if the ball goes a little bit more to the middle, you are too much towards your right, you're gonna have problems blocking this way. It's gonna be a problem. But if you're here, you can block, and you can kind of reach everything. Of course, every time you serve long, unless you're playing some defender or some blocker, someone who doesn't attack at all, every time you serve long, you're risking you have to deal immediately with some pressure from your opponent. You are calling this shot. Sometimes it's a good strategy because your opponent spins the ball poorly, or it's too slow for some reason. Then maybe you serve long and counterattack. But you have to, if you're playing a good attacking player, if you serve long, you have to block. And if your opponent misses completely and don't attack, that's the Christmas present you're waiting for. This is the best thing. The best scenario in this game is when you serve very long and your opponent's not attacking, because then you have a lot of time. You have all the long serve, and then your opponent's gonna touch the ball is very far from you, so you have all this time to prepare yourself and attack. But you have to be ready for blocking. So every time you serve long, hand in front of you, high, still low, bleeding forward, but you have to react fast and block.
Is it a better serve instead of doing because I usually do that one because I think it's like spinning away from them, but is it a better one to do just a fast top spin to the corner? Because they can't really.
Yes and no, but yeah, but well, if you serve more topspin, it's easier for your opponent to speed up this ball even more. Yeah. Because it's a topspin, so if I close the angle and go fast, the ball goes even faster. If it's a side spin, it's hard to attack very fast. It's possible, but it's more technical. It's not that easy, if that makes sense. And remember, a fast serve should be a surprise serve. Yeah. Unless you are a defender. Defenders, they serve long with a lot of spin in general because they want to chop this ball, or they want to force their opponents to attack, and they're going to block or something like that. But because they are specialists on this. But we are not. We are attackers. So if you serve long, has to be a surprise serve. And how you're going to do this with more side spin or more top spin or whatever, it's you. For example, if I serve like this, and I'm all the time like serving short, and then suddenly, it's a surprise. Because if I have to move differently, let's say I'm serving short like this, and then my only long serve I can do is when I do like this. It's kind of obvious. Okay, Vlad's doing this, so it's going to be long. I'm waiting. I don't know where and what kind of spin, but it's going to be long and fast probably, so I'm waiting to attack. So it's kind of you're serving like this, and then suddenly, boom. It has to be a surprise, but there's always a risk. There's always a risk, right? So there's no perfect situation. It's always like you have to check.
Well, I'll start doing that because that's both of these are different than I've been serving and positioning myself. So
yeah,
I feel like that combined with being a little lower would help me just be a little more not surprised, not like I've been doing.
And you have, even if you serve from this corner over there, if you're serving side spin, so you kind of are forcing your opponents to flick. It's possible to do other things. It's possible to push this ball like backspin stuff, but in general, you have to be worried with this fast shot, which is topspin. You still have to be able, if you serve over there, you still have to be able to create some space in the middle to play forehand. Even if you're not leaning this, facing this long diagonal, even if you're facing a little bit more the center of the table, you have to be prepared to maybe bring your right leg back to buy yourself a little bit more time and space and play some forehand. Because imagine if you serve like that and I flick a little bit more to the center, and then after serving you have to lean this way to play a backhand, that's going to be a very poor backhand.
Yeah, and I do that.
Very poor. Yeah, exactly. We all do sometimes because we forget to create space in the middle.
I forgot to mention what is better with this paddle and Quest is, besides those some of those reflex shots, is my flick. Like those two guys I sing you the scores from, I was able to attack a lot because some about
maybe because it's heavier, and then you have more weight on away from your hand. If that makes sense, more on the
could be, and just more consistent.
The head of the racket's heavier, so you have more weight to use as leverage, probably.
Yeah. So I'm pretty regularly getting to do my favorite little shot to corner over there on the side.
In real life, Stiga is doing this cyber shape racket where they are doing something very new. You have some magnets on the handle that you can take these magnets on and
Okay.
off, and then you keep more weight on the handle or on the head. So I think they have like, I don't know exactly, I might be wrong, but like 3 grams, 6 grams, or 9 grams. And then if you put all 9 grams, means your handle is heavier, but then the head of your racket is very light. And then if you take 1 or 2 or all 3 off, then the head of the racket is heavier. So you have different situations where maybe you can, because you cannot switch your pedal in the middle of the game in real life, right? But maybe you can take one magnet off and put it in your pocket and say, okay, I need a little bit more weight on my on the head of the racket because I don't know, maybe I need some to loop in a certain way that I feel more control if it's slightly heavier. You know, you change the balance, the weight balance, and it's genius actually.
That's pretty cool.
Because you can, yeah, because it's a very tiny, is a very small difference, but it can make a whole, especially in a higher level, where sometimes a small adjustment can make you feel more comfortable or not. And it's brilliant actually. I don't know why no one ever thought about that, but better late than never, I guess. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful, you know. Okay, let's do some practice on this. Oh, it gets that. Okay, can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some practice on this. I want you to serve. You can serve from this corner, maybe around here. If you serve a little bit more to the middle, I'm gonna react to your serves. If it's more backspin, I'm gonna push. If it's less backspin, I'm gonna flick. And then you have to be in position for the next shot, for the third ball. Okay, let's do a little bit. Yeah, good. Woo, here you go. Yeah. So if you're expecting a flick, you kind of have to be ready to play faster. You know, because you're kind of setting a trap, and you have to play faster because you know what's coming. If you play this serve, I flick this ball, and you play a slow shot, you give me time to recover. But otherwise, you are forcing me to step in. Then I flick. If you don't need to play very powerful with your backhand, but if you take this ball as early as you can, doing some fast, not very spinny actually, but some deep and fast shot, at least deep. This ball is, I'm moving backwards, and suddenly the ball is already there. I don't have too much time to prepare.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they think, okay, I'm gonna serve that way. The guy's gonna flick, and I'm gonna play to the other side. But if the other side is the forehand, I have some extra time because I don't need to take the ball in front of my belly. I can let the ball, you know. So it's better this way if you play a fast diagonal, kind of trying to hit my belly as soon as you can. This kind of a thing. Let's practice this a little bit.
Sorry.
Earlier. Take it earlier.
Yeah, I feel like for these ones, I feel like I'm too far back. Like I'm reaching ahead.
But
to like.
That's okay. You can be too far back maybe, but you're gonna stretch and take it because you don't need to make an effort. I'm turning this into a topspin for you. You don't need to lift this ball. You just have to you have to choose the right angle and just use your wrist fast forward. Just use your wrist, enough arc just to get over the net. But I'm already doing that for you because I'm spinning this ball, right? Oops, sorry. Yeah, go. Just find the right angle. Take it earlier. Oops, sorry. Yes, this is good. You see, now I'm late. The ball is easy in the middle. You have the whole table.
Yeah.
This is a bit too slow.
Yeah, I'm reaching.
The placement was good, but yeah.
I think I need to step and not reach.
I have a feeling that you're trying to keep the ball in in touch with the ball longer, as if you were spinning, and you really don't need that. It's kind of a very very loose. You know, if I give you something like that and ask you to go very loose forward, loose. Don't make an effort. Just stretch. Yes, very loose. Your wrist very loose. Yeah, forward. Yeah, go. More. Hold the angle. I'm spinning a little bit. Yeah, I'm spinning a little bit. This is a flick, right? Look. Yes, that's it. Go loose. Good. Yeah, you're still spinning too much. Look, 113. Not necessary. Just go loose a little bit. Almost like hitting flat like this, but you not actually flat, because you need some trajectory just in case, because a flick doesn't spin the ball that much. It changes the spin from your side spin to a top spin now, but it's a poor top spin, because your opponent only has the wrist to flick. Is never super spinny compared to some looping, right? So you just have to find the angle and go very in front of you, just stretching this ball faster as soon as you can. Go. I'm spinning, you go forward. Yeah, very loose. Yes. Step back a little. If it's shorter like this, you just stretch a little. You can step, if you have time, you step with your right leg a little bit just to reach the ball, but it's still very loose. Go. Yes, go.
Okay.
Go. Good.
Yeah, I'm still spinning a lot though.
Yeah, but that's okay. But the ball is landing fast at least. But you don't need to put that much pressure. You don't need to stress that much. Can be a little bit looser. But if you have a good timing and do with more spin, even better. You just have to make sure you hit the ball, because you have less time. Your opponent is close to the net because of you, because you served short, and then you don't have that much time to react. Different than if I was looking from here, you have a little bit more. You have like half meter or so, maybe 1 meter more to react. But it's not the case. Go. Good. You see, imagine I'm doing this, and then I don't have enough time to deal with the return. And then I'm gonna be slightly late. You're not gonna finish me like this, but you're preparing, you're building the pressure. I'm gonna be slightly late. As soon as I notice that I'm slightly late and I'm playing maybe higher or maybe too slow, I'm gonna have to step back to have more time to deal with your speed. And then you put more pressure. I'm maybe even later for the next shot. At some point, I'll be here like desperately lobbing this ball and praying for you to miss. Right? Let's go a little bit more. So I try to flick lower. Yeah. Lower your body. Yes, good. That's good. Yes. Beautiful. Nice. That's it. Let's go for serve. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Now there's some curve, right? Yeah. It's your spin. Oh, a little bit shorter.
Sorry.
Yes, go. Yes, perfect. Deep, fast.
Perfect. It really helps if I'm lower, because all those good ones I was much lower. I'm right there with the ball. I'm right there, and I can.
Yeah, let's forget about not being low. You know, that's not the table tennis is supposed to be low. In tennis, you're low when you're hitting the ball, and you're tall when you have to run towards the ball. We don't have to run towards anything. This is too small. It's lower all the time. Let's go. Yeah, something that you have to understand is that when the ball is, you're serving a little bit more this way. I don't have that angle because of your spin and because of the placement. So I'm gonna have to go a little bit more that way. And
Okay.
this maybe is the shot you need to wait and go forehand. And then you don't go fast. Then you let the ball drop because it's a forehand. You need more time to prepare. And then you go full power looping this ball as much as possible. But if you serve more over there, then I have this angle, and then you can play fast forehand, fast backhand.
That's hard.
Yeah. No, just go like this. Then you have time. If it's more to your backhand, it's always backhand first because it's faster and less effort. But I'm saying if you have to lean towards your right leg to play your backhand, then maybe you're supposed to lean the other way and step back and play forehand. Okay. Try to serve more to the corner here, then you can play more backhand. This is a backswing. Good. Go. Yes. Fast. You have to react fast. You're calling this shot. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not loose. I'm muscling.
Yeah,
muscling
not necessary. No. Good. Good. That's okay. Perfect. Yes, that's okay. And then after forcing this backhand, oh my God, my table moved a lot.
You just jumped.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
did it again.
Sorry. Okay, I think now it's okay. If your opponent is flicking, if you really hit a good fast shot with your backhand, then especially if it's cross court, then it's time to almost pivoting, like creating a lot of space for the forehand. Because if your opponent is slightly late, in general, two things can happen: a very easy ball in center, which is forehand, or a very easy ball long diagonal, which could be forehand, could be backhand. It's up to you. But you have to generate space, because if you put your opponent under pressure, he's not gonna handle well, and his next shots is gonna be probably easier. So you have to be ready. If you have a chance to play forehand, this is how you keep the pressure on. Because if you play backhand after that, maybe you play less pressure. I was discussing this with a student today. He was playing the tournament, and sometimes you invest so much energy on your first attack, and then you cannot keep the pressure for the second one. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to save a little bit more energy, maybe opening the angle a little bit more, maybe choose a better placement, something like your body is ready, in good balance, in good positioning for the next shot, because the next shot has to put more pressure. Imagine if I put a lot of pressure on the first shot and then you block, and then the second shot I don't have the perfect timing or position, and then I just give you some chance. The first shot, all the energy I spend on the first shot, which is not finishing the point, is not a winner. The first shot is not a winner, unless you serve side spin and your opponent goes under the ball and the ball is high like this. That's okay, but this is not what we are talking about. So let's say I serve backspin, you push long. My first attack is not a winner. It's not meant to be a winner. That could finish the point if my opponent makes a mistake, but it's not a winner. It's not the intention. It's just preparation for maybe the next shot or the next couple of shots. I have the opportunity to play a winner. So control with good quality. Make sure you're ready for the next one. And then the next one has to deliver more power, more pressure on your opponent. This is how you build. Imagine if we are boxing, and then I hit you with a very good punch. You are almost knocked out, and then I clinch you and hug you. You know, that doesn't make any sense. I have to keep the pressure, and my next punch has to be even more powerful because I'm trying to knock you out. This is the same here. If you do super hard the first one, you have to be able to keep that pressure or increase that pressure on the next shot. Otherwise, you better just control the first one a little bit more, maybe using more spin, whatever you feel like doing, and then you can you force your opponents to block. Is good enough. Your attack is good enough to force your opponents to block, but then you can generate more power on the next one and keep the pressure or increasing at least. The best scenario is increasing this pressure, and then at some point your opponent's gonna be knocked out. So if I flick, you play a good backhand, generate space because you need to keep the pressure. Let's try this now. So I'll try to survive your first backhand, and if I play a good shot, you just keep controlling. But if it's not really great, you have to be in position to put more pressure.
Nah.
Yeah, it has to be short, right? Has to be short. Yeah, good. Go. Yeah, good. You see, this is a really bad shot from me. And you were too close to the table to generate power. And then this your next shot, okay, it was good, it was their side, but it wasn't powerful at all. If we were playing, maybe I would have a chance to recover and counterattack, or at least release this pressure by putting some pressure on you, and then we are equal now. We are even, and you don't have the advantage anymore. But if you play the same backhand, I return the same ball. You just after playing this backhand, you jump back a little bit. Even if you keep playing backhand, you would have more time to prepare a more powerful shot. It doesn't exist. That what we know now that we cannot. We have to be low all the time, and we cannot play a shot and stay where we are. That doesn't work. You have to play a shot and immediately anticipating your positioning for the next shot. Even if let's say, same thing, like I don't play a good shot, and then I deliver something like this. If I stay where I am, I have 0 chances to survive. If I do like this, I have to jump backwards as much as I can, as fast as I can, try to survive. The same thing here. If I play a really good backhand and stay where I am, if the ball returns, I don't have time to keep the power, to keep the pressure. I have to play, move, maybe to the side, maybe backwards. It depends on where you're playing the shot, maybe to the other side, but you have to move. There's no way you play a shot and stay exactly where you are. If the ball comes back, in general, you're gonna have problems. So move. Let's try. Oh, sorry. Oh, it got black here. Okay, good. Let's go. Yes, good. Keep it. Yes, good. Yeah, but that's okay if you have time. But if you're slightly backwards, maybe your second backhand would be even better. Maybe it was good. It was good quality. The idea is forcing your opponents to step back away from you. Then you have more time, and then your opponent has to cover more area, right? If he's away from the table. Let's try. Go. Relax. Take in front of you. Yes, good. Go.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. I got to really figure that out because my weight is coming forward. Like I'm weight, and like by the time you're hitting it, I'm sort of like, trying to recover myself. So I need to be a little
more active a little bit, maybe when you play. This is forehand. Yeah, you forced my diagonal. The ball only went a little bit more to the center. I didn't mean that. No one wants to play slow to the center. It's just too easy. We play slow to the center because we cannot handle the pressure. We are slightly late, maybe, or the block has to move a little bit, so we lose precision. We don't find the angle, and then the ball goes to the middle. So every time you force, you have to create space to the. If you force this diagonal, you have to create space for it for him. Perfect. Go. Yes, that's it. That's it. But you're too tall now. You're too tall for this forehand. You have to be low.
Hold on, I got a dog going across here.
Okay. Go. Yes. At least you had time. You missed the shot, but you had time to prepare something. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it. Yes. Pressure. At some point, the ball ends up a little bit more towards the middle. You're ready for the forehand, right?
Yeah, it's like I have to be like loose and open to like going either way, but it's a little hard when I think I'm.
Yeah, if it's
a backhand drill.
Yeah, of course, it depends on how good your opponent is. Sometimes we don't have time to do the right thing because we are just too slow. Because our opponent's too fast, the quality of the shot is too fast. But we have to understand where to move, when, and be ready. If maybe you're ready, you're doing exactly the right thing, but the ball was a bit too fast for you and you miss. That's okay, but you're playing correctly. We know we are not playing correctly when we are taken by surprise, and then we are always like running away from the ball is always far. And then something is wrong if the ball is always far. If you're playing decent shots and the ball is always far from you, something's wrong. But if it's close to you, you have time to prepare, but you miss for some reason, lack of precision, whatever, that's okay. Positioning is good. It's just a matter of details, angles, and timing. But this is table tennis, right? It's super fast and everything is super small, and it's hard. It's hard for that reason. Let's do, just to finish, let's do a little bit more that corner just to finish. I'm gonna try to flick again, but now I can flick all over the table, even on your backhand side, and then you have to deal with that position yourself. Let's do just a couple more minutes. Yes, let the ball come. Beautiful. You see, it's way more comfortable on the forehand side because we have more time. We don't need to take more from. Yeah, really. Sorry. Good. Yeah, if I play slow there because I'm supposed to play slow, the ideal word is you have time to step and play a decent shot. Otherwise, it would be too weak. You do a serve there. I play slow, and you're gonna play slow again. That's too easy for me, right? If I'm playing slow, I have to pay the price. So you have to put more pressure. So that's why you should step a little bit more to the corner, because then you're closer to the backhand side. Because the fastball to your forehand, you have more time. You can rotate your body, take a little bit more sideways. Let's go.
What am I doing?
Yeah, a little bit shorter. Good. Yes, perfect. Yes, that's it. Yes, this is good. You see, you made me pay. I played that. It's a fastball here. The next one was even easier for you. So,
Well, and being here, I could hit that shot, but if I'm here,
yeah, it's
that
not
would be
very
a shot.
yeah.
Anything deep would be. I'd have to go. I'd be doing some kind of weird.
And it's not very hard to play a good shot in the middle with this serve. It's hard to play a good shot over there.
Yeah.
But the middle is not really hard. So you have to cover the middle more with your forehand. Right. Good. Go. Yes, that's it. Good. Yes, good.
Keep it a minute forehand too.
Yes, that's it. Make me pay. And you make me pay this way, but after playing this shot, you have to move to that corner.
Okay.
It's a continuation, right? It's not a winner. You're making my life very hard, but it not necessarily is a winner. So you have to play that and keep moving. Always keep moving. You'd never play and watch. You know, you're not paying tickets to watch your own game. You know, like you play and move. The other ones can watch, not you. You have to move. Yes, good. Go. Play and move.
Yeah.
Yes, don't stay where you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the big difference between higher level players and average or lower level players. The higher level players, they play against each other more often, probably. And they know if they don't move, the ball is going to come back. And if they don't move, they're going to miss again, and again, you know, all over again. Against a lower level player, you play a shot like this, a good forehand like this, and then I play to your backhand. You play a cross cut with good spin, the ball is never coming back. And then you play, and of course you're gonna watch because it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. But against a higher level player, there's no beautiful shot. You play, you have to move, you know, because the ball is coming back. Let's go. Shorter. Yes, you see, yeah. You're there. For some reason, the second shot was a little bit away from you, and you didn't put the pressure on. Maybe because of you were there at the right spot, but maybe it's physicality, maybe reflex, maybe you know your reaction is. But you're supposed to keep the pressure. It's still a decent shot, but you were calling. You played this way. You're calling for the. You should be ready for the next forehand because you're asking me to do this. There's no reason for you to ask me to play to your forehand and not have your forehand in place to anticipate, right?
Yeah.
It's just So this kind of a mindset, let's say, it's very important to if you're inviting me to your party, just be there, waiting for me. You know, otherwise, I'll be in the party on my own, and it's gonna be nice only for me, you know, not for you, because you're not there. So I'm enjoying the party, not you. But you invited me there.
So I serve. I came here. You put it over here. It was like a step away, and so I put it over there. So I should have been here, probably, right?
Not necessarily, but you should be ready to jump there if it's necessary.
Okay.
Not necessarily have to move more to the side, because sometimes let's do like this. Let's just hit some balls like this, like training balls like this, just like a warm up. Very slow. Stay close to the table. Don't spin the ball. Don't spin the ball. Just play flat like this. Okay, we are having fun here, just controlling. If I play a little bit more like this, away from you, you have to stretch. Maybe your shot's gonna be more towards the center of the table, because you're late. You have to move.
Okay.
So not necessarily if you play a good forehand, you have to move more to your right side. Not necessarily, because there's a chance that the blocker is late and the ball ends more to the center, and you even have to move towards your left to keep playing your forehand. But you have to be ready to cover this short diagonal jumping, because you're calling. The forehand is not exactly where you are. It's the whole area, and you have to cover this. So you just make sure. Let's say if I'm looping from in your blocking, I can force you to play more to the middle if I attack to the middle. So if I loop like this, one, you block, I loop two, you block, and then suddenly I attack more to the middle, I'm kind of forcing you. And then as soon as I play that, I'm sure this ball is gonna come more towards the middle. Like, I mean, 90% of the time. So I'm moving, I'm anticipating, because I wanna keep attacking with my forehand. Right? I don't wanna switch to a backhand in this situation, because I'm gonna lose pressure. Make sense?
Yep.
But if I don't hit to the middle, forcing you to block to the middle, I'm still hitting this way. I have to be aware that some slow shot can be towards the middle, or even away from me towards the short diagonal. But I'm here. I have to be ready to move, jump, and cover that. It's just because,
like I don't want to take away my advantage of you maybe having to jump to get to the ball and giving me something really easy in here that I can just stay where I am and just hit it. But I still need to be able to play this shot. Like I need to be able to be ready here or.
Yeah, sometimes this shot away from you, you have to jump with your left leg forward. You have to really jump. Boom.
Yeah, okay.
It's not like you cannot just move both legs.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no time, but it's still very powerful. If you jump with your left leg, it's still very powerful. You know, so that's okay. You know, so this kind of the ball never come, well, not never, but in general, it never goes exactly where you are. It's always like you always have to move a little bit, but understanding that you have a really powerful topspin cross court. Your opponent is not blocking really fast down the line. This is not a possibility. If he does, like, you clap, but keep doing this, because he's gonna miss more than, you know, if you play 10 times and he tries 10, he's gonna miss 8 or 9 out of 10. So keep playing there, you win the match. But you understand that it's possible to go a little bit more to the middle, a little bit more short diagonal, and you have to be in a spot where you have enough time to move and keep the pressure with your forehand. Unless you decide, because the ball is easy, you decide to play down the line, you decide to play to the middle, and then you move towards the other side a little bit more. Understanding this, you're less often late for the shots. And that makes the whole difference, right? Because if you're late, you lose pressure. You always have to adjust and think, okay, react. It's not about reacting. It's about anticipating. If you can anticipate, you're a better player. If you don't anticipate, you don't know what's going on. You're not aware of what's going on. Then your life is going to be harder. Even if you have the best footwork, you're super fast, light, super crazy, you know, like those Korean pen holders in the 90s, super fast, super crazy. But still, that means nothing if you don't know what to do. Positioning is more efficient than footwork. If you only have footwork, you're not a good player. If you have good positioning, of course you need footwork, but positioning and footwork, they come together. Not only footwork is not.
Can I ask you just a quick question before we go?
Yes, sure.
So this probably the number one problem I have. Well, you'd probably say positioning after that, but is just patience. Like I have to tell myself constantly, like, why did you try and hit that ball at the earliest possible point when you can hit when I could have just waited and hit it
Yeah.
in a really comfortable place where I can really hit a heavy ball. And I'm just having a hard time really getting some kind of like mental thing I can keep telling myself, like I usually just think, oh, that was impatient. Like wait for the ball to come to you on these rallies. But it's still really been a really hard thing for me to do consistently.
Yeah. You have to understand your style, right? Someone, for example, like let's say Taggy. Because I imagine Taggy, I don't know, in real life, I imagine him like exactly the opposite physically than you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure.
much lighter, shorter, completely different. Maybe we are wrong, but you know,
No,
it
you're
looks
right.
like, and the way he plays. So he cannot. Every time he steps back, he can play good loops for sure. He's a good player, but he's way more efficient when he's close to the table because he's faster. He's weaker
Yeah.
physically. He doesn't. If was a weightlifting competition, I would put my money on you. You know, not on him. But uh, close to the table, he's more efficient. He's faster. This is his style. If you make him step back, he can survive eventually, but he's not that efficient. You are the opposite because of your physical, your body composition, maybe, or it just, or maybe your personality, the way you play better. You play better when you have more time. Then you can play your best shots. Your best shots are not very fast shots. It's spin with speed, but that we call it power. You know, it's more spin, but with some good speed. This is power. It's not only a pure spin when it's like the ball is turning a lot, but it's very slow, and it's not a flat, super fast power. It's something between with more spin, more arc. This is your best shot. You can generate a ton of power on both sides. So in order to use this way, you have to wait for the shot where you have to wait for the ball to get lower, maybe drop a little bit more to give you more time to prepare and play your shot. So uh, you have to really understand and you really have to commit to that. If you watch uh, two left hand players, very different from each other from the 90s, because I'm old, it has to be from the 90s, right? Uh, Jean-Philippe Gatien from France, world champion in '93. Super fast, super fast player. Uh, take everything close to the table with a lot of speed, counter-attacking everything, just crazy fast. I still think he's the fastest player who ever played this game, physically speaking, like time reaction, this kind of, he's amazing. He was amazing. And Mikael Appelgren from Sweden is the opposite. Not that Appelgren wasn't fast, his footwork was amazing, but for some reason he couldn't play much close to the table. He wasn't efficient. He could block, play short game, block, but he was really good, like 3-4 meters away from the table, lobbing, looping, changing the spin, doing this kind of a chopping sometimes. Super good control. You know, very different players. If you ask them to play the other one's style, is going to be a mess. And they know how to. They were world champions. They know exactly what to do. They know how to. They know how to love. The French guy knew how to play all over the table, every single play, but it's not his best features, not his style. So they would lose a lot of efficiency. So you have to put this in mind that your style requires some situation where you have time to prepare your shot, and you still have time to keep the pressure, but a little bit more like away from the table, with where you have the angle to really loop this ball good. And so every time you're close to the table, in your mind has to be like, I don't want to be here. I have to find a solution. maybe the solution is pushing very long, forcing your opponent to attack, a good block close to the table to keep your opponent a little bit away from you, and then and then you can step back and have more time. Maybe this is the solution. Maybe the solution is flicking this ball slowly, forcing your opponent to play deeper, but then you flick and step back already. Your opponent plays deep, but not very powerful, so you can still overpower your opponent's top spin with your top spin, and then you are in the game in a comfortable zone, if that makes sense. Every
Yeah,
time
I
you're
think
close, playing short, every time you're,
I think
like
yeah,
taking in front of you, you in your head should be wrong, should be uncomfortable. You have to get rid of this
yeah,
situation.
your logic makes sense, but I'm taking time away from myself. Like even if I come back and I'm like, oh, I need to be back here because then I'll really be able to loop. I'm still like thinking it's coming fast and driving it instead of looping it, and I'm hitting it here instead of hitting it here,
Yeah,
and and I'll play like 5 or 6 points. And I'll be like, what are you doing? Like, be
yeah,
patient, wait for the ball because someone will hit a ball that's just average, and I'll
yeah,
send them back something average because I'm trying to just like
yeah,
meet it. Like, I think it's
yeah,
coming too fast. I'm meeting it early, and I'm not.
yeah,
And then I'll be like, okay, and I'll be patient, and I'll just rip shots, and they can't handle it. But
yeah.
it's not natural yet.
No, and I can actually answer that with some analogy. Meditation. When you sit for meditate, your mind, and you ask your mind to be quiet, then just because you ask, you're gonna have 1,000 thoughts per second. It's gonna be super crazy. But then you keep repeating that exercise every day at the same time, same position, everything exactly the same. At some point, you will identify the thoughts coming to your mind faster than you were identifying before. And then when you identify a thought, you consciously you're gonna say, okay, I don't want this thought. I don't want to think about that now. I'm gonna think about that later, maybe, but not now. Stay away from my head. And then you keep like you start separating those thoughts. And if you keep training your mind, you're gonna keep avoiding those thoughts when you're there meditating. And it's not because there's no at some point there's no thought coming to your mind. No, there's always some thought coming to your mind because you're alive, your brain is active. But now you identify earlier, and you keep it aside for a moment. And then there's no 1,000 thoughts per second. It's just like maybe 100 now. And maybe in a few years there's just 10 thoughts per second, maybe just 2 thoughts per second, but you identify very early and put aside. So your mind remains in silence a little bit longer until the next thought invades your mind and you have to deal with that. If it's taking for you 5 or 6 points to identify, to realize that you are playing wrong, too close to the table, you have to create a different situation. Maybe if you keep repeating to yourself, this is wrong, I have to, maybe maybe in a couple of months you are playing just 2 points, you know and they say, oh my god, it's wrong, why am I doing that? I have to, like, enough.
Yeah.
2 points is enough. Maybe in 6 months it's just 1 point, but maybe in 10 months it's just one shot. You do this shot, you say, oh my god, no, I cannot do this one. And then in the middle of the point, in the middle of the rally, you're already trying to find solutions to get rid of that situation. It's just repetition. Your mind is being trained to avoid some situation, just like in meditation, avoid thoughts or avoiding unnecessary thoughts. And then now you are avoiding unnecessary shots along the rally. Your mind is just sharper now because you're repeating, 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 and the mind is understanding some pattern that what your mind is allowed to create, because this is all a creation, right, of the mind, the way we are playing. So your mind is now creating something different after one shot. Maybe even before the shot. That's the best scenario where you go to do something, you're going to do this, but then you realize no, I have to flick this ball because it's better for me. So you go to this and oh no, okay, flick. Now I'm in the position again to play my game. So the mind now it's six whole points in a row. Maybe one day it's gonna be before making the first mistake strategically, you switch and then you survive. Something like that. But
Yeah,
there's
no,
always
that makes
some
sense. The problem is, because I'm playing mostly, I'm not playing you. I'm playing, lower elo players. I'm still getting a lot of reward for just being here, just doing my counter loop stuff with good angles. I'm scoring a lot of points, so that's why it takes a while to be like, you know, like maybe a guy has to block a few and win the point, and I'm like, why wasn't I here, and why didn't I, just do that? Like,
yeah,
why was I here and doing this business, and so
exactly.
I'm still winning points. I'm still doing my little things and getting rewarded.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I played Shane last night, and I was like,
yeah,
that's when it's a whole different ball game, and I'm like, I need
yeah,
to be
yeah. You don't
doing it
have too
right.
much time to adjust, and like if you don't have against these very
Yeah,
strong players, it's a different game. Yeah.
yeah.
A student of mine just won the first division last month. Now he's playing super division, and he had to play LSR and Joy TT the same week.
Oh my gosh.
Probably the best, the most powerful players in the game. I think they are the most powerful ones. And he had a reality check, like now he understands when I say you have to stay close to the table to block. You cannot wait too much. You cannot try to counter this kind of a shot because it's super hard. And then he's like, yeah. But when he plays lower level
Yeah,
players, it works. So in his mind,
yeah,
it's great. But now he had like Joe TT spinning this ball at 220 per second there, the spin. And then if he wait, he was even trying to counter some. It's just simple. It's almost impossible. It's possible. I mean, physically
yeah,
possible. Come on. And then he was not very he was not on time to block, a little bit away from the table. And the serve, I said serve short and try to attack first if you're not handling your opponent's attack. And then he was not serving he was like trying to serve short, but this
yeah.
was short for him. This is short against a lower level player, but not against a killer like LSR or Joe TT. And then he was having this problem. So, but this is good because that's gonna make him think, okay, I'm no match for these guys.
Yeah.
I have to improve. I have to really pay attention on details. Now, when Vlad says short, is shorter than this. When Vlad says spin this ball, is more spin than this because he was spinning his best spin, and the other guys was just like counter all over the table. It was a feast. He was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
like my ball is not spinning at all." Yeah, I'm telling you for months that's not enough spin. But
Yeah.
you keep thinking that's good spin because it works against lower level players. Then it's not gonna work against the top players. It has to be better than that. You have to
Yeah.
maybe lose weight to move faster, or maybe you have to practice more. Maybe you have to take
Well,
some time to practice your serves because you think you serve well, but against a guy like this is not
and
enough. This kind of a
and for
thing.
me, my problem of rushing was even worse because I had some great loops against Shane, and then he'd hit another ball where I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I can hit this ball," and I'd rush it and I'd miss it, and I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Calm down, like you don't
yeah,
need to be. I don't need to be like." You're like, I need to react as fast as humanly possible. I need to just
yeah,
play. But he
yeah.
also, wherever I hit the ball, he was already there. It's just like playing you. It's like wherever I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit the
because
ball, he's already there.
your shot is probably not fast enough for a player like him.
Yeah,
Of course he's going to be everywhere, but you don't need to go that far. If you play tag, which is also great, he's always there.
yeah,
And maybe some even lower level players, but some guys they just move well, and they are always there.
Yeah.
Like it looks like they have like 8 arms, and they are all over the table with like 8 paddles, and
Well,
that's
I did fine against Shane. I mean, I overwhelmed him with some of my backhands, and I hit some winners, but there was a couple times where I looped, and he would jump over, and one he did something like this. I saw him put spin on it, and it did that, and I went to hit it. I was just going to hit it in the middle of the table, just conservative. I hit it, and it just shoots like over there somewhere. It had so much spin. It was a block. It had so
yeah,
much spin. I was
exactly.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's no way I am prepared to deal with that level of
Yeah,
player.
because
Like
you have to,
I can do this stuff.
in order to be ready, you have to practice more often with those guys. That's why I
Yeah,
say that sometimes it's important for you to increase your elo points, because then if you were a 3200 player instead of 28,
yeah,
these guys, this 25, 35, 3600, these guys will invite you to play more often.
yeah,
Even if you play the same level you play now, but if your elo is a bit higher, you have more opportunities to play these higher level players more often, of course, and they're
yeah,
gonna take you more seriously, because this is something like
yeah,
we have now a kind of a 700 elo difference. If I don't know you and we are playing a casual match, I will start controlling, not making that much
yeah,
effort, because first I don't want to be rude, like, I mean, just destroy. I don't know you, it's a casual match, I'm gonna destroy you, and like, it's not fun for both
right,
of us, maybe. So I'm gonna control, and as long as you play better and the rallies increase quality, I'm gonna increase a little bit more my quality as well, to overcome you, because I don't want to lose anyway. But you're not gonna see the best of me,
right,
not straight away. You have to prove yourself to see the best of me, if that makes sense, because the elo difference is too high. But if the elo is not that high, if you're above 3100, maybe 3200, I want to say, okay, this guy is 3200 for a reason. It's not for free. I'm gonna play hard, and I'm only gonna play soft if I'm winning very easily. Maybe he's 3200, but the style for some reason is very hard for him. Something I do that he's not able to deal with. So then I'm gonna do different things in order to keep the training good for both of us. But
yeah,
I'm gonna start hard instead of controlling. You will see the best of me probably at the beginning, because the elo is closer, and of course.
he started off easy, and I hit a couple winners, and then he got down
Yeah,
a little bit,
yeah.
but
You
but
notice that
I
the guy lowers a little bit more,
yeah.
right, when he's in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
for sure.
usually when I play these guys, it quickly gets that way because I can, if I have a ball, I can hit you know, I'm not at their
Exactly.
level, but I can hit a ball.
But
But
they're gonna
he
feel the weight.
he
Yeah,
was it was funny because he was trying to like fake me out on some serves, and I felt good because I didn't really fall for what he was doing. He was doing some exaggerated stuff, and I didn't really fall
yeah,
for it. But his use of spins and different shots was just like
yeah, yeah. It's above.
way
It's a
higher than
different
me.
level.
Way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like not even.
Yeah.
But
But
it's
we are
fun. It's
talking.
fun.
But we are talking about a top 10 guy who
Yeah,
plays
yeah,
this for a long time, and
yeah,
probably in real life he's super strong. So this is a
yeah.
different. This is a different animal.
I
But
want to I want to
if
get to
you
the
play
point
more,
where those guys have to try so they don't lose the game to me. That's where I want to get to that point where they can't just
yeah.
do little
But but
stuff
if
and
but if you did good rallies against him, maybe when you see each other online again and you invite him to play,
yeah,
maybe he'll remember and say, okay, this is gonna be good training for me.
yeah.
Because
Well,
if I was
he wanted to keep playing. We played one match and we both hit it again, but I had the weirdest thing. I had like horizontal lines in my headset. Have you ever had that? Like it's almost like
no,
four pieces of glass, and I couldn't get rid of it, so I had to quit.
oh,
But
that's a shame. Yeah,
I had never seen that before.
yeah, yeah. But for example, if I know you, if we play like a couple of times and I know you, what you do, and let's say I'm strong, much stronger than you, I would try, as in a casual match, of course, I would try to get the best out of you to
Yeah.
be a good training for me. So probably I would give you long shots, long backspin, just to feel that you're spinning well. So I have to block well, and then maybe if I feel that if I block exactly where you are, you have it's easier for you to keep the pressure on. So I'm gonna do that and see if I can handle the pressure. Maybe waiting a couple more shots to finish the point if I have the opportunity. This kind of a thing. People
Mhm.
don't realize when you're playing a casual match, you're not supposed to win the match. I mean, you're supposed to practice, and if you win the match, okay, even better, but you're supposed to practice. And if you have the same level of your opponent, okay, you have to win, play whatever you can to win because it's same level. But if the level is slightly different or very different, then you have to find what is the best thing for you to practice according to what your opponent can do. If
Yeah.
you're the underdog, of course, play your best. You're playing someone higher level than you. Just try to play your best because your opponent will find the solution for the rallies and see, okay, okay, if I block this way, he's very powerful. So maybe it's a good idea to deal with this power because it's good training for me.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm playing someone that plays topspin really well, but if I do some backspin, the guy for some reason has no idea how to answer that. So it's no training for me. Just every time I serve, I do this and score the point without doing anything else. I'm gonna serve topspin and say, okay, try me, you know, and then I have to. This is good training. And of course, if I'm playing some ranked match or a tournament match against this guy, is like all day like this. Okay, whatever. I just want to win, get my points, and go home. But if it's a
Yeah.
training match, the mindset's completely different, right? Makes sense.
Makes sense.
All right, my friend.
Thank
So
you.
it was a pleasure again. See you next week. This is the fourth class because you asked me last
Okay.
week. This is the first one. Okay.
Awesome.
And if you need